I want to thank everyone, especially the team of Soquel devotees, to conduct this wonderful event. We've been here several times, and it's a great pleasure to see how our community is expanding in a deep-rooted way. We have children, grandchildren, the veterans, the pioneers, and their children, and children of their children. So that means Krishna consciousness, one way or another way, taking deep root in our world. It takes different forms, different shapes, but still the principle of Krishna consciousness is one. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked, what is Krishna consciousness? What should we do? He said, Mathura Vas, to stay in Mathura, Bhagavad Shravan, Arche Mursiya Seva Nama Sankirtan. They said, well, it's very difficult to stay in Mathura, Vrindavan. It's very few souls can do that. Bhagavad Shravan means to hear from Bhagavat, Shrimad Bhagavad Katha, means also hear from pure Vaishnava. And Arche Murtiya Seva means worship the Murti, and Nama Sankirtan, with the Nama Sankirtan. So these are definitions of Mahaprabhu. But they told him that's not for everyone. It's very difficult to get in Kali Yuga. Then Mahaprabhu said, Jividoya Nama Ruchi Vaishnava Sivam. Jividoya means love and affection, compassion. Nama Ruchi, chanting holy name with the taste of, and Vaishnava Sivam, to worship devotees. So from one point of view, we can say that place Soquel has that incredible 5 aspects of Mahaprabhu. It's Mathuravas, means it's not different from Vrindavan. Why? Because Radha Krishna Mahaprabhu is here, and in their most amazing divine form, staying in, as Govinda Maharaj would mention, as their outside residence. Why? Because Krishna has a lot of opulence. Aishwarya. Krishna has 16,000 wives.
Avadhut Maharaj ki jai.
So for Krishna to have another place of 16,000 wives or so much gold and opulence, that's not exactly what Krishna wants. Remember, Krishna has big psychological problems because two Krishna born at the same time. One of Krishna in Mathura, who is Vasudev, and one Krishna is original Krishna, Nandanandan. So the original Krishna, he wants to live with his parents, his friends, and want to make Yogamaya illusion that he's not so important here. Sometimes they think, he might be personality of God, but most likely he's just my son. So when Brahma, taken Vimohan Leela, made mistake, he's stolen calves and cows of Krishna, but Krishna expanded himself into the calves and cows. And at that moment, every woman in Vrindavan that want Krishna to be her son, every cow that want Krishna to be her son, becomes so pleasantly fulfilled by divine ecstasy. Invisibly, Krishna took forms of their sons and cows. At that time, Brahma removed the cowherd boys and calves into his cave. So Krishna had an opportunity to expand himself to Vrindavan. And the desire of Krishna to expand was not to create some kind of a magic, to create invisible special effect that without knowing, this person, why I love him so much, why I love my son so much, because instead of that, your son, Krishna, is now expanding. Even the calves and the boys and girls, everything has been accepted by Krishna. This is very mysterious pastimes, because sometimes when we think, why Krishna want to live with his devotees just like the way he is? And you can understand here in Soquel by Srila Gurudev Mercy, we have that Krishna. So when first time I came to LA temple, they told me, this is Dwarakadish and Rukmini. I said, who named that deity this way? And they said, this Prabhupada. Then when I spoke with Goswami Maharaj, I said, why was that Prabhupada start worship of Narayan, Lakshmi Narayan? Because actually it says in scriptures, Krishna will never appear in front of you as original Krishna until you have special blessing of devotee. As Lakshmi Narayan, as the avatar and the source of Vaikuntha, he's accepting service. But as original Krishna, Nandanandan Krishna, Yashodanandan Krishna, very rarely in this world. So in this Soquel, we have that expansion of original Krishna, and by the grace of Vaishnavas and the Gurudev. Because otherwise Krishna will not reveal himself as original divine form. So some people may not know what's the difference. Okay, he's Krishna, that Krishna. As we say in Thailand, same, but difference. Why? Because that original Krishna is the source of divine pleasure, even for gods and goddesses. So when in Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Gopakumar, traveling towards different planes of reality, so we would appear to think like, oh, the Shiva Loka or Brahma Loka or Indra Loka, but he's going to all these lokas, and everything's fine. There's like opulence is there, there's nice prasadam, nice environment, but something is missing. And what is missing? Is simplicity of heart exchange. So Hridayana Vinugyato, the simplicity of heart exchange. So according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Krishna says, Sarva Dharma Paiteja Mamakam Sharanam Brajam. So Guru Maharaj explained, Sharanam Braja means Vrindavan. Why? Because only in Vrindavan you will get that proximity of being Krishna friend, Krishna's parent, Krishna's associate. Everywhere in the world you'll be separate through Krishna by Aishwarya, by the power, by the strength, by the glory. So Gopakumar is entering Vaikuntha and you see amazing, incredible presence of Krishna everywhere. I mean Vishnu, Narayan. And you see, even the trees, it's expansions of Vishnu. Even the fly bugs and little bees, honeybees, they could be taking that form, like a devotee taking form of bee. You've heard of this call, right? Like honeybees running around, like, where's the honey? Like it's not ready yet, okay? So this like this. And, some other mystical things, because Sanatana Goswami explained there's no ignorance in Vaikuntha. Here everything is formed, different forms of ignorance. One is more ignorant or less ignorant than another one. But he said it's pure goodness, so that if anybody wants to become an insect in Vaikuntha, he's fully Purnam, fully conscious being. He's consciously accepting position, body of honeybee, and just like, like sometimes I want to be like that also, like give me some food, and you know what I'm talking about, sorry. So, but when he's coming to Lakshmi Narayan pastimes, he see that just like we have Mela here, they also have little Mela, and Lakshmi Narayan is enjoying with devotees, and time to time different devotees come on the stage and do their little performance. So suddenly there are so many mystical arts in Vaikuntha, as we know described in the scriptures, and like our ladies, they know how to stitch and decorate and do so many amazing things. So these are all coming from Krishna, the quality of devotees, because devotees are habituated by beauty and ecstasy, and everything they do is amazing. So he sees some group of devotees with sticks, and they start dan daga dan, little simple dance with a stick. You see, like, hey, this is like our village. Remember, he's from Vrindavan. That's my ancestors. That's what they do. I born with this, drum music. The hippie drum music. Sometimes, and they felt like, hey, the drums are calling, the ancestors are calling. But in this case, dan da da dan, and they dance with a stick, left, right, and they can jungle the sticks. So one time, my brother was so fortunate. He was with Govinda Mela and Govardhan, and my brother had a little camera, so he went to the roof to make a little view of Vrindavan. Then he saw Govinda Mela is coming, and Govinda Mela is coming with a stick, and he showed me that somewhere we have that footage, and then certainly Govinda Mela got into mood of Govardhan, and Govinda Mela started throwing his sticks and fighting with the trees. And for some time, because no one was there, he's like a child. And then he thought maybe somebody watching him, and he go back walk with a stick. So that was like captured by my brother. And I can understand there's something divine. The mood of Vrindavan. It's not just, it's not just, everything. It's like you are becoming the part of that divine mood because everything is about mood. And so Gopakumar saw this wonderful cowherd boys dancing with the sticks and enjoying so much, and he just started dancing with them naturally. Then when the performance finished and everybody kind of left, Lakshmi Narayan called him, said, please come over here. Who are you? What's your name? What's your name? What's your father's name? What's your mother's name? Where are you coming from? Indian classical thing. And then Gopakumar expressed himself. And Lakshmi Narayan said, are you happy here in Vaikuntha? Like, are you okay? Everything is here fine? And he said, yeah, it sounds amazing, but, oh, you're missing something. What are you missing? He said, actually, I love this dance. I don't know where these people are coming from. That's my music. That's my sound. Oh, they said, oh, this is from Goloka. This guy's touring. And so that means you're a Hare Krishna devotee. Yes, I am. So you like Krishna? Yes. So they show him Krishna. Lakshmi and Narayan become Krishna. And they start doing a little performance to him personally. And they said, how you enjoy it? How you like it? And you know what he said? Yeah, it's really amazing. I'm overwhelmed. But it's not as the same as in our village. Then they just told him, like, you got to go to Goloka. You're not belong here. It's not your plane. This Dwaraka, Vaikuntha, Aishwarya, it's not your domain. Go to Goloka. And that's where the Guru Maharaj began his search for Sri Krishna, where he's entering Golok Vrindavan and see these beautiful cowherd boys and coming dancing, and Krishna's embracing him and telling, like, where you were. I was looking for you. So what is the definition of that story? That is hard mood. So as we say, yes, you can see Rukmini Dwarakadesh, it's divine. But I told one devotee, I said, but if Govinda Maharaj come, if pure Vaishnava come, he will not see Rukmini Dwarakadesh. He will see Krishna. So there's a place, Guruvayur, in South India, where Guru and Vayu, Brihaspati and Vayudev, Pavanavayu, Hanuman, who is Madhvacharya and Murari Gupta and so many expansions, they established worship of the deity which were found after Dwaraka collapse. And that deity actually, Vishnu, forehead Vishnu, small deity, still is worshipped. So they brought that to a special pond where Shiva meditate, and Shiva appeared and said, this is the best place to worship that deity. So since then in Kerala, that Guruvayur temple was very famous. So in Gurudev time, I went there by his blessing. And it's actually also a center of Ayurveda near Trichur. It's a very mystical place. And for some mysterious moment, I entered the temple. They never allow white people, but for some reason, one day I came, I pray outside, and the guard called me in and said, go. And I went there and I saw it. It's a very small deity. I thought, wow, that's Vishnu deity. Why is it Guruvayur Krishna? It's a Guruvayur Krishna. And they told me, the history is this. When one great Vaishnava came, he did not see the four-headed. He only saw Krishna. So that means Mahaprabhu was told, wherever you are, you see Krishna everywhere. So where your heart is open for Krishna consciousness, whether it's, any expansions of divinity, but the devotee heart will be only fulfilled by Krishna. And the taste of devotees, inner bhajan, inner spiritual life will be Krishna consciousness, fully Krishna consciousness. So Mamakam Sharanam Brajam also means there's nothing else, you will accept it. Because your heart will hanker towards Krishna consciousness. That means, what is Krishna consciousness? It's a particular relationship, taste of relationship. It's what sets in your heart. And where do you get that? So one time, I think Nityananda Prabhu went to Vrindavan, and he met Guru of Madhavendra Puri, who was Vallabha Tirtha, or just didn't came to my mind, but it was Guru of Madhavendra Puri. So we know that when Mahaprabhu met Keshava Bharati Bharati wants to give Mahaprabhu sannyas. So Mahaprabhu asked him, are you willing to give me that mantra for the sannyas? So he first initiated Keshava Bharati. It's pretty much the same story happened with, I don't remember the name, I guess Balabhatirtha or... So he was guru of Madhavendra Puri. So he saw Nityananda Prabhu, so beautiful. And they embraced each other and he started crying. And Nityananda Prabhu said, please, Shripad, give me initiation, give me initiation. And he said, how can I give you initiation? You're God yourself. And he said, you see everywhere God. Everywhere you see God. So please give me that vision. I want it. Nityananda Prabhu was very sneaky. And he said, but what can I give you? He said, like, give me that Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, that Hare Krishna, that you give it to me. So Nityananda Prabhu giving him this bhav, this mood of Krishna consciousness, and immediately receive it back. And that's secretly how we can connect with Guru Vaishnava, by accepting part of his divine heart and mood of worship. And in time, when some proper, service attitude will come, and, so many obstacles in our heart, but they will go on the side. Not that they will completely go. We all know that it's not that easy as we think, but that divine feelings of devotee, of devotion, will come to your heart. Hridayena vinugyato, that is, the heart will say. So this is very beautiful conception of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, exclusive conception of Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj is there to make sure that, as he said, I'll make sure no one is enter who's not qualified. But through Govinda Maharaj said, let me take them from the back door. Well, you are the guardian of devotion, but, keep the back door for me, otherwise... So Guru Maharaj said, okay, I'll sit on the front door, you do whatever you needed. So Govinda Maharaj came, and with his divine heart, he, conquer peoples with his mood and his bhav and his appreciation. And that's really how Krishna consciousness works, because it's not about our qualification, how that person qualified or another person qualified. We've seen a lot of qualified people, and they came and go, and whether other societies or our society, their qualification many times cause of their failure, because as more qualified you are, as more ego comes, and the more ego comes, the more trouble comes, and the normal way of discharging for Krishna consciousness is Vaishnava aparat, that starts from Vaishnava criticism or based on your own greatness. So we know that is a very painful process, but it needed sometimes for someone to go through your own justification, because, as Govinda Maharaj would explain, the failure on the spiritual path is part of perfection. And in fact, Govinda Maharaj always glorified religion of imperfection. He always established himself as a fallen soul, if you remember, and starting song Emana Durmati. And he said, when I came to Srila Guru Maharaj, I knew many Vaishnava songs, because my father was Guru of Nityananda Parivar. I was Kirtan chanter. So I know many songs about Radha Krishna and even Mahaprabhu because of the Bengali culture. But when I came to Srila Guru Maharaj's lotus feet, he told me, you should open the Sharanagati songbook and learn the first songs of Sharanagati, which is Emana Durmati and Ki Jane Ki Bole. So Emana Durmati Samsara Bitare. And Govinda Maharaj would always open the meeting, amazing meetings, from that simple song of I'm fallen soul. I'm fallen soul, but I've been saved by the grace of my Guru and devotees. And Govinda Maharaj told me that, he said, that is the core key principle of proper attitude in Krishna consciousness. We are all fallen souls, but we're also saved. We've been saved. So sometimes Govinda Maharaj said, I know you're all fallen soul, but I feel you as a saved. So somebody asked me, "Oh, Avadhut Maharaj, how is that? We are fallen soul, but we've been saved." I said, in spiritual consciousness, there's no difference between time and space. See, we live in limited time and space. We can observe river flowing in one place of our senses, but river flowing itself. So if we go to, Rupa quadricopter and see the vision, we'll see the whole river is moving with everything. So just like in river of time, which is beyond physical and mundane perception, yes, one who came into connection with Mahaprabhu, he must be safe. Whether it's happened after billions of lives, of millions of lives, that's not the question. It's a question of maybe, maturity, spiritual maturity. So I thought, why is it Krishna does not like immature people like us? What's wrong with us? And then, see, things that I understood in Krishna consciousness came many, many years after. So I have a question, and then maybe in 10 years, Krishna answered this one question. I already forgot the question, but one time, I think I've read Madhvacharya commentary on some Mahabharata or the Trinatika Nirnaya. Very rare commentary. And that he said, Krishna does not like unripe fruit, because unripe fruit does not taste good. Nobody like green peaches or green, plums. Why? Because they're green, they taste bitter. So devotees just hearts like this unripe fruit. If it's not really mature by spiritual softness, it has no divine taste for Krishna. Krishna say, okay, you hang out as maybe low fruit, but you wait. And in time, if somebody is exposed to the sun, it's just, doesn't mean that if you do nothing, nothing will come. But in time of your spiritual practice and trying numerous times and failure and success and again failure, again success, at that time maybe some qualities will come by the grace of Vaishnavas. And then Krishna say, yes, this one is suffering so much and this one is heart becomes softened and this one develops some taste. Then I can accept that person. So this is a very secret conception because everybody wants quick, like, the Instagram Krishna consciousness. I just want to be like, I want to dress like devotee. But, in our songs we say, Chakudana Dila Jai Janme Janme Prabhu, say life after life. How can I do it life after life? So I'll tell you one interesting story which is published by Bhaktivinod Thakur about his son. So as you know, Bhaktivinod Thakur had many sons. Not only Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and Lalit Prasad, and one of his sons died. And he published in his magazine his life story. He did not mention, I'm disclosing you a story of my son. But who knew Bhaktivinod Thakur, they understood as his son. He's talking about his son. So he said there was one wonderful Vaishnava family, one wonderful devotee who born, and up to certain age, he was, very happy, jolly mood person, but then suddenly he got very sick and mentally ill for maybe 10 years and suffered so much of mental depression. And stopped eating, lost weight, and suddenly started dying. That he was in his, 30s, maybe beginning of 40s. Then the family members got around him, started chant Krishna, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And that family members started dying, and then he died. He passed away. And after some time, he resurrected again and started speaking. And he said, my previous life, I was a follower of Ramanuja Sampradaya Vaishnava. When some Mahaprabhu devotees came to our South India, because I was follower of Brahminical Vaishnavism rules and regulations very strictly, I thought, who is these people? I did not accept them. And I made some aparat offense. So my next life, I born in a Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava family. And I suffer my reaction. So now that after passing by, not only that I'm liberated from this reaction by the possibility of being born in a family of pure Vaishnava, but I'm also leaving this world. It was a very dramatic story that this young man born as a son of Bhaktivinod Thakur, and almost 10 years he had complete depression and suffering. And that complete depression and suffering was cause of his Vaishnava aparat. But at the same time, Krishna was so kind and merciful that gave him chance to become a son of Bhaktivinod Thakur, to be born in Vaishnava family. On a certain part of his life, he was, connect with the Bhaktivinod Thakur, deep, divine Krishna consciousness, which is, we know, beyond general Krishna consciousness, because his worshipable deity would be Gaur Gadadhar. And even the life of Bhaktivinod Thakur was misery at certain part of his life, because he's born in a very wealthy family. His part of family was a king, relatives, and then he lived in an opulence place, and then catastrophe in his family and losing all the wealth, and he had to get a job. And one time Bhaktivinod Thakur was working at a trade company, and they were, selling sugar. So one man bought 28 bags of sugar, but they load 27 on his, cart. And that man said, okay, and gone. And Bhaktivinod Thakur discovered there's one bag of sugar left. So he chased that man, ran after that man, and said, you forgot one bag of sugar. So when the head of this company found out about that, he said, you don't need to work as a trader. Means like, hey, we could have just screwed somebody on a bag of sugar. Then Bhaktivinod Thakur left that work, and his grandfather, who was mystic yogi, before dying, he told me, up to 28, you'll be suffering a lot. After 28, you'll be okay. And then Bhaktivinod Thakur, at that moment, became a secretary of the, he just couldn't work in the trade, and he started looking for a government job, and eventually entered to the government service and become very highly recognized, in his career and time. Took several years, of course. So we would think, well, he's liberated soul. He's got so much, Krishna Prem in his heart. Why is that he's suffering from so many diseases in Vrindavan? Why is that his life is so rough? Why is that, he has opposition when he goes to Navadvip? And why is that, we have that many problems in our life? Actually, our problems compared to the life of great souls are very miser. But still, if we look at the devotees, like, remember Krishna Kanta in Italy, she got cancer, and then she almost like dying, and her father doctor. But Gurudev in front of me said, I don't think Krishna will take away that girl from you. So Gurudev personally entered to her karma, and we know she was saved. And because she gave her life to Krishna, to Guru, then Gurudev said, why Krishna has to take her life? She's giving it to, she already doesn't have any material life. She's not like having a bunch of children or trying to enjoy life in Italy. So people like this we have in our mission, who's giving life to Srila Gurudev, and they actually achieve life. And that little sacrifice, spiritual sacrifice, which we think, it's not so important compared to what my problems are. But, Krishna knows who's sacrificing, which sacrifice, and what level sacrifice. And Krishna count everything, So life of service, as we used to say in Russian army, the soldiers sleep, but service is going. Means, that's why I normally tell to people, when I sleep, my seva is coming. Just now it is coming. And this morning, I barely went to sleep, like maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, couldn't sleep. And then after some time, I listened to this kirtan, and I thought, I'm pretty much present on the program in lying position, Dandavat, and I've heard all the songs and the bells, and I thought, like, how wonderful is to sleep on a festival where you, like, in your subconscious stage of mind, pretty much present on the program. But, I've been called for the lecture and for a couple of words, and I want to express my words of appreciation to all of you, because I haven't seen you, and, I had some realizations, different realizations after passing of Govinda Maharaj. And Govinda Maharaj told me many mystical things, and I could not understand. because he told me through life certain things, and before leaving he told me two things. Actually, he had very clear prediction. When we were trying to work on Govinda Maharaj's will, which it did not get probate, but people don't know, Govinda Maharaj's will was quite interesting. It's not a legal document. He said, I was born, blah, blah, blah. I came to my guru at the age of 16 and blah, blah, blah. He's like, Govinda Maharaj's will was like compassion. And in his story that he told, so he began his will story from his entering Chaitanya Saraswat Mat and passing out. And so when we showed that will to a lawyer, the lawyer said, that's not the will. It to be, a little bit edited and rewrite because it's a legal document. But even that was not easy to do. So Goswami Maharaj worked on some wishes of Govinda Maharaj. But, some wishes were truly some wishes was like accepted by Govinda Maharaj. So it was not like everything was totally accepted by Govinda Maharaj. But he knew, like, I need to get it on bottom line because... But I remember what he really wish. It's actually interesting. So Govinda Maharaj did not expect everything's perfect. His will was not about perfection, or his will, most people completely misrepresent what he wants. But he had some interesting things. And he told me, like, one thing is like, I cannot forget this in my mind. He told me, cooperate with those who are seeking cooperation. And I said, like, hey, that's an interesting thing. Because sometimes you think, well, what should I do? Who should I service? And he said very clearly, like, cooperate with those who are seeking cooperation. And then I said, yeah, make a lot of sense. If, like, this devotee seeking to do something together, that's the way. Because if he doesn't want to do something together, you can't force anybody to do. So Govinda Maharaj said, like, very interesting things. And then he also said very interesting things about Navadvip. And then he also said certain interesting things about certain people, which I've seen time happen. And then I understand, yeah, he had some divine vision. And I tell you one divine vision of Govinda Maharaj, which was amazing. So the time of Govinda Kund construction, one day we came and Govinda Maharaj like speaking Bengali, and Acharya Maharaj like, and like 20 people running around. Suddenly next morning we see like pumps and pipes, and they're taking water out of Govinda Kund. So within like few hours, it's like a lot of fish, and then some people coming and collecting the fish and run away. Like snakes run away, the fish is now eaten by local people, and Govinda Kund is just like, drowned place. And, and Govinda Maharaj is explaining, Acharya Maharaj is screaming and running around, and like a lot of people with shovels and tractors, and, Then suddenly they start putting up the Govardhan temple into the middle of Govinda Kund. And every time they try to plant the structure for the support of a temple, it doesn't work. Because it's just, nobody knows what's underneath. Then we all sitting together, and I said, Gurudev, I understand, in Bengal you do things in a particular way, but it might be the chance for us to bring like a good engineer and reconsider the way this foundation will be. Not that Gurudev did not know that, when he was doing gate of Govinda temple, Govinda Kund, if you remember, there was like a big hole inside, maybe 3 meters. And they asked, said, Gurudev, why is that so deep? And Gurudev said, the deeper hole, the better foundation, the stronger the structure. That's what he explained. I mean, it was like a spiritual thing. So your foundation has to be very deep. If there's not enough depth, your superficial Krishna consciousness will fall apart. So Gurudev looked at me and said, yes, we need to... I thought he's going to say, yes, Avadhut Maharaj, yes, we need to bring good engineer. He said to me, yes, we need to do Kurma Puja. So Gurudev did Kurma Puja, Kurma, and that foundation was settled. And another time, it was funny. So we were sitting with Acharya Maharaj And like I'm always thinking like I have very bad thinking because my thinking is always go to the edge. I said we're dealing with corrupt lawyers, we're dealing with corrupt police, we're dealing with everybody corrupt. We need to know what they're doing. I said, yeah, just like throw a few bugs here and there. The KGB would do that. We listen to all the conversation. And Acharya Maharaj said, no, we don't do that. We dress somebody as astrologer. Who come and tell me like, let me see your hand. Oh, you're having big problems. This Indian way. You send somebody as astrologer and look at somebody palm reading, and he'll tell you everything he planned. I said, that's an interesting way, right? You don't have this listening, processing power. You have a guy who tell you exactly, make you phony predictions and look at your palm and let you speak and reveal everything what you want. It's an interesting way, in Bengali minds working. Absolutely different. So then we can understand Govinda Maharaj, he had different vision for many things. And although it appeared to be sometimes that his vision was maybe not structured in a particular way people do things in the West, but his vision was, core connected with ideas of Krishna consciousness. Like his will was not like when we showed the will to the lawyer, he looked at this, he said, it's not going to work. I said, why? He said, because will is like you basically have to say, like, okay, my cat is going to this, my dog is going, like my car is going, like, and he said, this is like story of, like, it's a confession, it's the life story. But we said, we don't want to change it, we want to keep it and maybe add some legal things. But this will is expressed when Govinda Maharaj expressed his desire, how he see us be in the future, how he see us going as a family. And, it was a big drama, actually. And, later I discovered so many things because at the very first meeting, I saw that, some people not on the same page. And later I discovered they will never be on the same page. But that tip that Govinda Maharaj told me, like, cooperate with those who are seeking cooperation. And sometimes when people are seeking cooperation, you cannot be supreme leader or supreme prima dancer. You just have to be a little tuned, humble, because people have a little different way of seeing things. They're not the same. Like I discovered, not everybody's think the way I do. I think different because to me, I have a different thinking of many things. But it does not mean that my thinking is like supreme or ideal. I said there, some devotees, they're just happy to do little what they can. It's real, it has to be real. And so sometimes when we think about success of community, of success of a temple, it's not how many people is there, it's not how opulent it is, it's just if you have inner team of inner dedicated souls. And so Soquel is one of our oldest community, I mean the only community I would say, where we have a high population of very special devotees who have been connected with Prabhupada and continue service for a long time. And in spite of all, unique personalities, without killing each other, like without becoming Yadu dynasty, who could kill each other in one Govinda Mela, without drinking a lot of chai or coffee, they're cooperating for Guru and Krishna, because Govinda Maharaj is here. So I asked one time Janardhan Maharaj, it's actually an interesting thing. I have to ask him. So one time we with Govinda Maharaj and Janardhan Maharaj was there. That was like a beginning days. And Janardhan Maharaj is like, he's a character. So he's asking Gurudev question, why do we have to worship you? And like Gurudev interesting question. Like just somebody come and tell you like, hey, why do you have to worship you? What's about you? But Janardhan Maharaj, as we know, as much as he's a special character, he's got some core substance. So his question was like, okay, Prabhupada, we knew what Prabhupada did, all right? So Guru Maharaj, we know what's about you. So Govinda Maharaj gave very deep, explain why he has to be worshipped. It's not an easy question, but he did answer. I will ask one more time, Janarmash, because I don't exactly remember everything word by word. I don't want to rephrase it in my own way. But basically, Govinda Maharaj explained his divine position. He had to explain sometimes why we need to be connected by, pure Vaishnava, why we need to be connected with that divine substance, why if we just go on our own with our own GPT chat brain, which we believe is, but we all know GPT is lying time to time. So yes, and GPS is also maybe not. GPS is better than GPT. So, and interestingly, there was discovery recently, which I was quite happy to hear. See, in alchemical human design, in Vedic human design, you have different brain, not one. But modern scientists discovered that heart has same cells as the brain cells, kind of similar. Which we know you have computer in your stomach, you have computer in your head, and you have heart. So projection of the heart is the soul. So soul is project on the heart. So this is, according to Ayurveda, is a place of rasa. So rasa is not just Madhurya rasa. Rasa is also a terminology for Mercury, for life, energy. Like rasa has, according to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, very deep meaning. And Rasa Shastra, which we know the highest Rasa Shastra, is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It is alchemical book. Because Sanatana Goswami, as you know, he produced gold for Mercury. Because if you don't know, that our teachers knew how to do that. Because he had the 400,000 golden coins. They didn't came from the sky. So Rasa Shastra is an alchemical book. But interesting way that some rasa has several samskaras, like 16 samskaras, which is representing Christianity. Remember, Christianity it's nothing but the example of alchemical resurrection. So first you have to get the original substance, then you have to purify, then you have to kill it, and the most important part is resurrection. Actually, resurrection of rasa with Mercury comes with Tulsi. It's like last stage of resurrection. Tulsi is involved, and resurrection of because you're taking the energy and you have to bring it to original matter, original substance, which is spiritual substance, immortal substance, and that's why the glories of Tulsi is in Shiva Purana. As you understand, it's not Vishnu Purana, it's in Shiva Purana. Shiva speaks about glorious Tulsi, and people don't know how much Tulsi is powerful, how many is used in different yogic and mystical traditions. But we all know the most mystical aspect of Tulsi, and that's why we're wearing the Tulsi beads. It's very dear to Krishna. So when Radharani was asked, how did you get such an amazing devotion? Radharani said, I was just worshipping Tulsi. So we're worshipping Tulsi every day without thinking twice because we're simple-hearted people. So the first expert on Rasa Shastra was Abhinavagupta, who's the Kashmiri Shaiva, one of the greatest alchemists and mystic yogi of all time. But not only he was expert on resurrection of immortality, he was also expert on theatrical art. He was the first one who took Bharat Rishi Muni, Natyam Shastra, and give his deep study of theatrical art. So since Rupa Goswami studied his work, he also did his own PhD on that, called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Abhinavagupta, interestingly, in his book describing, the highest rasa is Shanta. Why? And that's what one time Govinda Maharaj told me. I could not understand that meaning, but then after studying that stuff, I understand what he means. See, why is that Shanta rasa is so important in this world? Because you become an observer. So Shanta rasa means I withdraw, I observe things. Whether you observe politics or your children growing, or your uninvolved judgment. You have to take Shanta rasa, step back and observe things, then you can see things. If you're emotionally involved in business or conflict, you have to let it go and almost make everything Shanta rasa and say, okay, I'm an observer right now. So that's what Abhinavagupta means. But in spiritual world, Shanta rasa is the least strong position. The highest rasa is Madhurya rasa. Why? Because spiritual world is a positive world. The positive and progressive immortality, where Guru Maharaj has explained that in that spiritual realm, the only qualifications is your service and relationship with Supreme Krishna. Yes, yogis and trees and other beings, they're observing Krishna and they're involved in incredible joy. But what to speak about Krishna's mother, Krishna's father, Krishna's friends, and what to speak about Krishna beloved gopis. So that's why Rupa Goswami taking that Rasa Shastra and thinking, if I can combine this with the principle of immortality, with the alchemy, with the spiritual alchemy of transformation of your divine taste, that's how the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu born. And this is a very complicated book because from one point it's Bharat Rishi, the theatrical experience of our emotions, because our life is like drama. And that's why when I meet some, devotees said, "How's your life drama going on?" Oh, my life drama, I'm not there yet. I'm trying one more time, looking one more like loving relationship, or looking one more way of like, over excite myself, And there's never that you will give up on search for love, and that's why our principle of divinity is loving search for Sri Krishna, as Guru Maharaj explained. So that reflection of our search for love in this world is actually a true search of Krishna. Because this permanent, conscious, connection with divinity, that's what we really need. But we're looking for that rasa outside of the realm of Krishna. We're thinking, I get rasa with this person, or with that beautiful girl, I get some more rasa, or I squeeze some juice here, or here I can squeeze my juice. I can get my green juice here and my red juice here. But finally, after tasting so many mundane juices, we will not be satisfied. Never will be satisfied. But in our spiritual core of our heart, we know there's a seed for divine rasa, which comes not from exploiting tendency, rather from our service tendency. So we do have a service tendency, which is, sometimes we think, I've been doing so much for devotees, I've done so much work, nobody told me thanks, I haven't got, I did not become even liberated, what to speak about Krishna. We have this superficial judgments of ourselves, but Krishna doesn't. Everything is done, as Krishna says in Gita, everything is done on this path, is eternal. But, it will not be converted in your crypto bhakti coin that easy as you think. You have to do a little bit more mining, deep mining in your heart. You have to mine manmana bhavamat bhakto mam yajni mam namaskuru. You have to go deep into that realm of Krishna consciousness. That's where you be able to discover your true wealth. And superficially, it may not be a lot, but it will be something real. So, and again, we can talk forever, because there are, when I start speaking with trees, and then some more people coming in and out, and porcupines, and the deers, and finally devotees came, and Divya Shakti, she's a dancer, ready to dance. Yeah, come on, don't start, you're always, she's an actress, like I know, she's like, I'm so old, and then she's dancing like that. Stop posing. We know who you are. You're eternal being, blissful, full of love and affection. You're posing sometimes. That's by the nature of this drama. So in this drama, we have to go to the grandmother, stage and think, now I'm grandmother, like, what should I do? But, Nyasimar is already like grandfather. He's saying, I'm still alive, like, what's next? Or like I saw last night, Bimala, she's always serving. And she's Gurudev girl. I never, You understand? It doesn't really matter what age she's always girl. To me, I mean, I'm younger than her, but I never think she's like senior lady. I think she's like a girl. Whatever, her mood, her attitude, her movement, she's like a girl. Like she could be running with our girls and kids and be like one of them. Because her ever useful nature of service and attitude. And that's what we are appreciating in Krishna consciousness, because sometimes we are very superficially connected with our external position. But internally, none of us is what we think we are. That's why one time, Govinda Maharaj, when we were sitting, he started telling me some mystical things I still cannot understand, maybe in the future. But he told me, you don't really know who you are. And I thought, yeah, that's true. Because every time we put up different persona, different character, and we try to play that character until we discover that it's not really me. Me is something deeper than that, but we have to go through so many characters, change so many characters, in order to discover our true self. And that's called self-discovery. And it's never happened by your own grace. You need to be according to the drama rules, character develops in circumstance. So a lot of people complain, including myself. I'm also a complainer. But, and that's our tendency to complain. But remember, if you really look at your life, where did you perform the best? When you had the most difficult, conditions in your life. And so sometimes the most difficult conditions in our life is the best conditions for our transformation. So, and this is a transformational journey. That's not a journey for, acquire things you want or buy things from Amazon. That's a transformational journey for your soul and your consciousness. And, it's not easy to serve. Even like you think like this is like paradise, but why is it not that many people want to serve? Because, it's the deep conclusion to stay in the plane of service. Because there's so many temptations, especially here in America. It's very seductive country. At one thing, it's been completely screwed by the rules and regulations and law. But at the same time, everybody's hoping for, better life, better life. What's the better life? Better home, better car, better this, that. But, when you go to India, sometimes like you see somebody, there's like nothing. And this person, no, I'm going to get nothing. But he's smiling. And he's like a happy person. And, but in India it's easy because basically it's like you're born in Himalayas, what are you going to get? Nothing. But sometimes you go to your inner self, or I went to Nepal. I was impressed how much people have been screwed in Nepal by Western invasion of alcohol and drugs. Like they put in wine shop at every corner in Nepal. They killed the king and, they did a special operation on Nepal. And now they said, oh, it's no longer a Hindu country, it's the international country. So they try to vanish this nation to lose their deep roots. And we know that's a very modern way. Like in America, especially liberal states, people, they don't know women, men, what's the difference? Why? Because it's like dissolving you in the world of possibilities. Remember, unity and diversity. So diversity is more interesting, more deep. Yeah, is there a difference between unity and diversity? Yes, there is. And diversity, that's what really make you to understand what world is. To understand everybody's unity called Mayavada, which is wonderful. But diversity called Krishna consciousness. Not everybody's equal. No Krishna has equal cows. There's no equal servitors. Everything has gradation. There's thousands of gradations in Chinese tea, what to speak about gradations in gems and stones and art and beauty. So to be able to appreciate this and realize this is Bhaktivinod Thakur has one incredible book called Tattva Viveka, Identification of Truth. And he say, you search for the truth to understand one truth is higher than another one. That's why Govinda Maharaj was asked, why did not many devotees get understanding of Guru Maharaj? And Gurudev thought and said, interesting. He said, well, Prabhupada did obvious. Like he came and gave Maha Mantra to the whole world. That's obvious. But he said, but Guru Maharaj give that gradation. And to be able to understand that greatness and gradation, it requires some taste and appreciation. Not that we all here connoisseurs. I don't believe that. I don't buy that. But we say about somebody who understands divine nature of Guru Maharaj must have some Vijanti hi sumedasach. But then, okay, then Janar Maharaj asked Govinda Maharaj, well, but why we have to worship you? What's about you? I want to hear from you. Why we worship Govinda Maharaj? Yes. Why we are here as considered worshippers of Govinda Maharaj?
Because of the love and affection.
Yes.
Okay. Love and affection. Anything else?
You have a hand there. Humility.
Sakshat Gauri Tvena Samasta Shastra Utastatab Yapte Eva Shabi Pitu Prabor Yapriya Eva Tasha Vande Garoshri Charanaravinda. That because he's considered as good as God himself and he's very Prabhu Priya, he's very dear to the Lord.